On February 23rd, Ahmaud Arbery was shot by a white parent and his child for jogging through a neighborhood. On March 13th, Breonna Taylor was shot by officers who forced their way into her home. And on May 25th, George Floyd was murdered by Minneapolis officers over suspected counterfeit money. All of them were unarmed. This list goes on, and the world has finally declared enough. Since that day, all 50 states and 18 countries around the world participated in Black Lives Matter protests, making it the largest civil rights movement in world history. I've heard and seen some of you asking, but what about pride? What are we supposed to do when our parades and celebrations have been canceled and shut down due to both the protests and the COVID-19 pandemic? My answer to you is that we fight. We march like we always have. We speak out against injustice like we've had to our entire life for queer rights. We do this because we know that in our community, Black and brown people are the most unsupported people. It's time for us to fight the internal racism and segregation and live up to what Marsha P. Johnson and other POC trans women and queer people fought for when they rioted at Stonewall and beyond. We are much stronger together than we are apart. We have the power to truly overturn the long-standing white patriarchy and demand equality and justice for all. Demand equality for Black trans women like Ayanna Dior and countless other trans people who have been victims of institutionalized transphobia. We need to protect each other now more than ever. Over the month of June, any money that comes into my Cash App or Venmo during Viva Aaliyah will be donated to the Trans Women of Color Collective. And I will be making a personal donation myself on top of that. We are a proud community, and there is a reason that I tell our stories on my show. We cannot forget where our pride was born, where it needs to be today, and where it will take us in the future. Injustice must be brought to justice. Fight together, stand as one, and remember your pride. Because with pride, we stand together.
Pride, we stand together.
With 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 pride, we stand together.
And once again, with pride, we stand together. It is Pride Month. Welcome to Viva Aaliyah. Viva Aaliyah. Viva Pride and Viva Our Lives Together. I'm so happy for today's episode and to kick off Pride Month with a legend in our community. I cannot explain to you how much it means to me to have this individual on our show. This individual has lived among decades and has shown us what entertaining truly is within our community. We are very, very blessed to have them on our show. But first, I want to talk about what's in your glass really quick. We have last week's winner. We're going to talk about what's in your glass twice on this episode. So what's in your glass week's winner from last week is Katie Beth Bowman. Katie Beth will win a Pride shirt that is a t-shirt or a tank top of her choice. And she had the winning photo this week. So if you want to have your photo submitted, go ahead and submit that to drinks@AliyahMartinezQueen.com. Hashtag what's in your glass in the header. So some of you may have seen on the website, but others of you are wondering, who is this legendary guest? The only thing I can say is Sean, John, Calvin Klein, Donna Karen's fashion line, Valentino, YSL, Ferragamo, and Chanel, Holsten, Gucci, Fiorucci, don't forget my Poochie. Without further ado, the legendary fashionista, Jimmy James. Hi, Jimmy James. How are you? How are you?
How are you doing? How's my Joey Heatherton? Nobody's gonna know who that is, but this is Joey Heatherton. Look it up. The Serta Perfect Sleeper back in the day. It's on YouTube. Joey Heatherton, bang.
I live. What movement you have with that bang?
I try. Thanks, girl. Thanks for having me on your show.
Thank you for being here. How are you, darling?
I'm good. I've been quarantined in San Antonio, Texas, where I'm from, watching over Mommy. Mommy's like 85 years old, and she had me when she was 50.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
You're not a day over 30, darling. You don't look a day over 30.
Thank you. Yeah, it's the lighting.
So, Jimmy, I have one very important question to ask you, which I ask all my guests. And what's in your glass today, darling?
Oh, well. You're from Texas, right?
Yes.
This is Big Red.
And
Big
what?
Red, which
what isn't a Big Red for any of those who don't know?
It's like a red drink. It's like I want to say strawberry, but it's not quite strawberry. It's red. It's just a red soda, and they have it all over Texas, but I don't know if they have it up on the East Coast.
There is in Michigan a drink called Faygo Red Pop, because in Michigan, obviously, they call it pop, but the flavor is red, just like Big Red. So I lived in Michigan for basically my entire life. And there's kind of like that similarity of...
what part of Michigan?
I lived in the Lansing area mostly. I went to a high school called Grand Ledge, and then I lived in East Lansing and went to Michigan State for a little while.
Okay. All right. I just played Saugatuck, Michigan last summer.
Okay. You were at the Dunes Resort.
Yes. I met all the girls there. I had my show there in their little cute cabaret at the Dunes. And I did 3 weekends there. It was great. So much fun.
It's beautiful, right?
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous. Really gorgeous.
I took my husband there to Lake Michigan, not to the Dunes Resort, for the first time, and he said, "I didn't realize the Great Lakes were they looked like the ocean."
I know.
They really do,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, darling, I have a question for you about who you're wearing, what you're wearing, especially you, because what are you wearing is your famous line. So talk to me about the designers that you feature most often.
Well, my favorite designer is Issey Miyake, but this is not Issey Miyake. This was custom made for me. This is a shirt that's custom made. It has a little pocket here. And it's like a real slinky kind of fabric that's like light and cool. And then, you know, MJ Trimming in New York?
Yes.
MJ Trimming. Okay. So this is simply just trim. I made a tie out of it. All it is trim, and I folded it under like that, and I made a little tie. So I
Beautiful.
can, and it's like jewelry, but it's like a tie, so I can do my glamour dyke look.
And when are you not glamorous? I mean, let's be honest.
Well, you know, everybody's in drag, and I did drag for so many years, and now everybody's in drag. So of course, I don't want to do what everybody's doing. I already did it.
Right.
So my look now is glamour dyke. I wear like combat boots, and I paint like a hooker.
And look at those
And I
eyes. They
do.
are done.
Do you remember that makeup? Shurmura.
Yes.
Shurmura is the eyeshadow. It's like it's lasted so many years. It's like a gray. And then the eyeliner is Kat Von D's.
Yes.
Kat Von D.
Beautiful.
But I also got one of the queens in Saugatuck, Michigan at the Dunes. Oh God, what's her name? I don't want to forget her name. Dia. Dia?
Oh, Electra.
Yes. Dia Electra. She bought me the palette of Alyssa Edwards. It's gorgeous. I wear that a lot too.
Beautiful. I will. Electra and I had Electra introduced me to drag when I was in high school. And then we were kind of on cast together at a bar called Spiral in Michigan. And we've kept in touch ever since. So yeah, I will. I'm so glad you brought her up. She's a wonderful and beautiful entertainer.
Yeah, she's sweet and very talented.
Yeah. So you are you may not call yourself this, but I definitely call you this. You are definitely a legend in our community and someone that I look up to and many of us look up to. What's the biggest thing that you hope entertainers take away from your career and your legacy as a queer entertainer in our world?
I always wanted to be an entertainer, and I never thought I could be an entertainer. You know, I was living in San Antonio, and this was like, you know, late 70s, early 80s. I was like, I'm never going to be an entertainer because, I mean, things weren't like they are now, like more happening. Even in San Antonio, there's like Sam Ash music stores, and there's like the Guitar Center. That did not exist back in the day, you know?
Right.
So I took dance, and I thought maybe I was going to be the next Nijinsky. Google it. And I thought maybe I'll just be a makeup artist. So I studied theatrical makeup. And so when in studying theatrical makeup and studying dance, I came across a photo of Marilyn Monroe in Life Goes to the Movies. It's an old book from back in the day. And I was thumbing through the book, and there was a picture of Marilyn, and I thought, oh, I always hear about Marilyn, but I don't really know much about Marilyn. And I thought, as a makeup artist, I thought, maybe I could do something with that. I knew that Jim Bailey was doing Judy Garland, and I had seen him on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson like eons ago. And I knew so that could be a thing. Back in the day, like I was in theater all the time, doing shows all the time for no money because you always had to do it for free. You spent a lot of time. Back then, gas was being rationed, and it was very expensive. And I'm like, I'm driving all this way to the theater, and nobody's paying me, not even a nickel, to be in these shows. And then I was like, what if I could make a show by impersonating Marilyn Monroe, and be where I really want to be is in nightclubs. That's where I really wanted to be. I wanted to be a nightclub performer. So I did a lot of studying and a lot of research, like 3 years of research, because it wouldn't take me that long now. But back then there was no YouTube, there was no internet. I didn't have access to a lot of things. So I had to study and read, and any documentary that happened to come on television, I would watch it about Marilyn. So I I worked really hard to try to absorb the persona of, and I didn't want her to be a joke. I wanted it to be like people would feel like they were in her presence.
Yeah.
So I wanted it to be really as accurate as possible. And I saw her as an artist. I saw her as a very intelligent person. And really, I saw her as somebody that was years ahead of her time.
Yeah. We have a comment from the audience which says her Marilyn Monroe cannot be touched by anyone. So amazing, which is true. You have the top Marilyn Monroe impersonation I've ever seen in my entire life. And there have been many times when you have been, your photos and your live shows have been mistaken for Marilyn Monroe, correct?
Yeah. There's this photo that I did with, first of all, I love this book, you guys. If you love drag, if you're interested in drag, this guy, Frank DeCaro, did this amazing book. It's got incredible history on drag, but I'll show you the picture in this book of me. Let me see, where is it? I should have marked it, but I didn't. Dumb.
That's okay.
But
While
I
you're
did
looking
this.
for that, I can ask you a question, which is,
Yeah.
so we just talked about the fact that you're one of the most renowned Marilyn Monroe impersonators. When did you actually realize that you yourself could create Marilyn, and why did you choose Marilyn?
I think I feel like Marilyn chose me, to tell you the truth. When I saw that photo of her, something came over me like, well, Jim Bailey's doing Judy Garland, and so I'm not going to do that. And I thought, well, people keep talking about Marilyn, so maybe I could recreate her for an audience and make them feel what it might have been like to have been in the same room with her. So it was like 1982 or something. I mean, I was like really young. I was, well, how old was I? 18 or something. So I was like in college, and now I can't even find my, oh, there it is. I got it. So this photo is the most, this is the most misidentified photo of Marilyn probably in the world. And this was an LA Iworks ad. And I told Greg Gorman, the photographer who shot it, I went to his house in Los Angeles and I met with him and I said, Greg, everybody's making money off that image, because this image was banished from ever being seen because they were threatened with lawsuits. I was threatened with lawsuits over that. And it was like so horrible because back then she was owned by anyway, some rotten lawyers. And they wanted to sue me, and because you can't use the likeness and image of a dead celebrity and blah, 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 whatever. So it was banished for 22 years. No one could ever see it. It's from 1990, I think, that photo. And I was so sad because there was RuPaul in her LA Iworks ad, and a bunch of Jackie Beat did one. A lot of people did one, people that were my friends. And so there I was, like, hidden for 22 years. But in 2012, the internet set it free because I started to see it. Artists were doing renditions of it. People were putting it on T-shirts. They were putting it on phone cases. It was going everywhere. And Greg Gorman agreed. So now we do sell the print signed by him and me. And we sell them for like $350. So I finally have been selling them at my shows, whatever. And so it's the internet set the image free, is the irony to all of it, that we had no say in it. And because LA Iworks immediately, when they were threatened with lawsuits, they made it disappear because they had to. And it was so sad because back then, again, no social media, because if anyone was to try to do that now, we could go on our social media and say, can you believe what they're trying to do to me? And it could like rile up the troops, right? But back then I was like helpless. I couldn't do anything.
Well, God bless the internet now for resurrecting such a beautiful photo. And now you're in that book and you're able to have it at your shows. You kind of talked about your experience with not having that photo there, but what was your final feeling? Was it like, finally? Did you get emotional when you saw that it was coming back up? How did that make you feel?
I was so happy. I was so happy. 22 years of it having disappeared. It couldn't be seen anywhere. And again, LGBTQ issues were like kind of on the back burner, you know? So they couldn't do that again, I don't think. They couldn't be as mean as they were to us and get away with it because they were mean.
Yeah. If you don't mind, I'm going to switch to one of your other legendary moments in your life. So I myself have performed Fashionista probably in any way I possibly can. It's been in Pride mixes. It's been in my openings. It's been, I can recite your song verbatim without pause at any time. If somebody were to say, give us Jimmy James Fashionista, I can at any time without music lip sync to it. What was it actually like coming up with that song and then all of a sudden having it become literally a queer nightlife anthem?
It was a dream come true. And I'll tell you, originally I had written something, I had given up on recording. This is for anybody who thinks, it's not over until it's over. I had given up on recording and I wrote an alternative song. Other than that, I wrote something else for Amanda Lepore. I gave up on my career of recording. And turns out she was already signed with people and she had like management or something. So they kind of like rejected it. So the producer said, well, why don't you write something for yourself? And I'm like, really? So it was really weird because I had like a bass beat and I had to rewrite the song, which is weird because once you have a tune in your head, it's hard to rewrite it to something else. So I scrapped the idea for Amanda and I was really mad because I couldn't go to Fashion Week. I had to go to Provincetown, the Fashion Week in 2004 in September. And I was so mad. I was like, I want to go to Fashion Week, but I had to go to Provincetown. And so I just got mad and I channeled Andre Leon Talley. He was the editor at large for Vogue, and I love him so much because he has never a loss for words to talk when he's talking about fashion. So if you listen to me in Fashionista, I'm really channeling Andre Leon Talley. Oh, darling, you must wear this, and you must wear this, darling, and so I'm channeling Andre Leon Talley. Fashion is the art. Designers are the gods. Models play the part of angels in the dark. All that. Sean, John, Calvin Klein, Donna. So I'm actually kind of impersonating Andre Leon Talley. I've never met him, but that's who my inspiration comes from. I was so mad that I couldn't go to Fashion Week, so I wrote a song about fashion. I was like, I want to go to a fashion show, and I have to go to Provincetown. Which I love Provincetown, but I wanted to go to the fashion shows because even though I'm short and fat, I still love fashion.
You are one of the queens of fashion. We have to say that. So my next question for you was going to be, how did you come up with that voice? And what did you have to channel to get in there? I've heard the story of Andre Leon Talley so many times, but to actually just hear you do it, there's no need for anything electronic to come into play because you actually are such a wizard of voice acting. I've heard you do Billie Holiday, I've heard you do Ella, I've heard you do
I like that. Yeah, I like
crazy.
that. Voice acting. I like that. That's exactly what I do. I voice act. I use my voice to act through, use it as a vehicle to act certain parts. So Andre Leontali was my muse. I'm totally him. I'm totally impersonating him.
You really are.
And
It's
what
beautiful.
I was at 144 East 22nd Street. I was in New York City when I wrote the song in my little apartment, 144 East 22nd Street, apartment 6A. It was a tiny little studio. Of course, darling, it was Gramercy Park. But anyway, it was that big. I could barely fit my ass in the studio. And so uh, I put the toilet seat down. I put the tape in the player, and I just started writing them on top of the toilet seat, kneeling down over the toilet seat. And I just wrote it so fast. Fashion is the art. Designers are the gods. Models play the part of angels in the dark. Which one of you? I wrote that really fast. The part that took a long time was the rap, because I had to make something. I wanted to talk about my favorite designers and put it in an order that made sense. And so I had like 100 designer names. You can't put 100 in a rap. So I was stuck in a rainstorm in Houston, Texas at the Intercontinental Airport, right? Oh, Intercontinental Airport. It was a rainstorm, and I got a VIP lounge pass. And so we were like stuck there for 3 hours. And that's where I began putting the rap part together, which I like to spell WRAP.
Yes.
Right. And so I started with Sean, John, Calvin Klein, Donna, Karen's Fashion Line. And there's a secret code in there as my love for the Pointer Sisters. Remember when they had that song? This was one of my favorite disco songs. I wonder why he's the greatest dancer. I wonder why that I've ever seen. Okay, in that song was my favorite part. And they go, Halston, Gucci, Fiorucci, he looks like a steal. That man is just a kill. Well, in my song, I have Halston, Gucci, Fiorucci, don't forget my Poochie.
Yes.
It's a little tip of the hat to the Pointer Sisters.
Oh my
He's the
gosh.
greatest dancer. Yeah.
What like pulling in such like historic music into another historic musical moment is it's so crazy. And I hear you every time you say it. You understand that there's a voice to every song and there's a voice to everything that you perform. And so when you did the Pointer Sisters, you had that voice. And when you sing Fashionista, even if you don't mean to, I can tell that you're so in tune with Andre Leontali when you do it, no matter where you are or what you're doing. You jump into that Sean, John, Calvin Klein. I can hear you doing it. It's such a wonderful thing to hear that you're so in tune with that acting part of the voice. So it's
Thank
so
you.
wonderful. We had
Thank you.
a great comment come in from a former Miss Gay America, Lauren Colby. She said, "Can you tell us about your billboard in Times Square?"
Oh, that's a very sweet question. Well, I was asked that we're going to do a billboard with Linda Evangelista, and the art directors had an idea that I would do Marilyn with Linda Evangelista, somebody else would do Judy Garland, and somebody else would do Betty Davis, and say, fashion doesn't have to be a drag or something like that. I have it here, and it's got buying clothing shouldn't be a drag, and so this was the billboard in Times Square with Linda Evangelista.
Wow.
And it was November, December of 1996. Oh my God. It was like, okay. I was like, I always had this dream that I would be on something which would have me as Judy, Betty, and Marilyn. But they didn't want me as Betty and Judy. They wanted somebody else. And I said, but wait, if you have me do all three, that would be such a cool thing. And so I did photo tests for them, and they agreed. They said, okay, you can do all three. And I was like, So that's like, I think, as I don't know, I maybe the only drag, the first drag to have been featured in Times Square, but I could be wrong. But as far as I know, it's the first.
What year
RuPaul
was
came
that?
second. That bitch was late. That was that was November, December of '96, and they let it go on to the beginning of '97.
Yeah. Yeah, Lauren Colby said amazing. Not only is she a former Miss Gay America, she's a former Miss Gay US of A. She is wonderful and beautiful, and I hope that you get to meet her one day.
Yeah.
So we talked a lot about Pride and a lot about what's going on in the world, but why is Pride important to you right now?
Well, I think that I think Pride should be important for everybody. Our Pride, Black Pride, Puerto Rican Pride, Pride is important, and I'll tell you why. Because we can't have sectors of people overlooked. I think our Constitution says life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We're allowed the pursuit of happiness. And happiness for all of us is being accepted. And, you know, if some of us are not free, none of us are free. Everybody has to be free. And, you know, girl, I have traveled. I've been in the business 35 years. I've traveled everywhere. And you know what? I have partied down with them all, from Europe to Hong Kong to, Australia, the US, of course, and just met so many different kinds of people. And we all want the same thing, basically, just some respect. And we want to have good jobs, or we want to earn good money, and we want to be accepted. And as long as you're not hurting people, you know, I don't know what's so hard about it. I've had fun with so many different kinds of people, and New York is such a great melting pot. Like when I lived in New York, it's like, it's a rich environment, culturally rich environment, where the gays have their rights, and the Muslims have their rights, and the Jews have their rights, and the Black people should have their rights. And I'm glad that right now we are in a big reckoning. It's long overdue.
Yeah.
And you know what's so beautiful? I'll try not to cry. But you know what's so beautiful is the young people, diverse as hell in those protests, peaceful protests. I'm not talking about those rioters that started looting and all that. That's a diversion, because the young people in these protests give me such beautiful hope. Really. I'm like, okay, you know what? It's going to be good, because those young people, just like me.
Yeah, I mean, you've been in the business 35 years, but you are only 35 years old, so you started at age nothing.
The check is in the mail.
I do want to break this up just a little bit. Do you mind playing a little game with me?
No, go ahead.
As a fashionista yourself, we have to know your thoughts on different styles and different fashion-y things along the way. And so we're going to play a little game called Keep or Cancel. I am not 100% sure what Dominic is going to put on the screen, and so both of us are going to answer. I'm going to allow you to go first, and then I'll go after you on whether we should keep or cancel. Okay. What is the first thing, Dominic? Go ahead. Flower crowns.
Oh, do I say it first?
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, you first.
Flower crowns, keep.
Same. I would love a flower crown. I think they're beautiful.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, I prefer a tiara myself, but.
Ooh, a tiara. Oh, overalls.
Cancel.
It depends on what you're doing. If you're giving a good 90s look, you can do an overall, but I think overalls are a little over after all.
Overalls always make you look fat, no matter how thin you are.
I'll take that. Okay. Ooh, look at that tiara you're wearing. She's beautiful. What's next, Dominic? Oh, Crocs. Same. Cancel.
Cancel. Crocs. Ugh.
Cancel a Croc. I can't deal.
You know what? They can design something better that's a little bit cooler. I know they're comfortable, but I will not wear a Croc. No.
Yeah, I've never worn a Croc in my life. I think they're great if you are a healthcare worker or somebody who doesn't have to wear something that looks good to work. I can say that because my husband's a healthcare worker.
God bless. Send him my love.
Chunky sneakers. You know, they came back.
What? God. You know, when you go to Europe, they have such fine, like, shoes. They're like streamlined. They have a thing in Europe about their shoes. Nothing's chunky footed over there. It's sleek, it's sexy, it's cute. So I'm gonna say cancel the chunky sneakers. I personally like a good sleek running shoe.
Yeah, I've never really understood a chunky sneaker other than the fact that the Spice Girls wore chunky shoes.
And I have fat feet, so I don't want to wear fat sneakers. It just makes it all look worse.
Same. It just looks bigger. Okay, next. Tiny sunglasses.
No, cancel.
Cancel a tiny sunglass. Yeah, I prefer a shield, not even a shield. I prefer like an aviator style or something very classic that can go along the times.
I always get the biggest sunglasses.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Scrunchies. Oh my God, scrunchies. Well, scrunchies are, it depends because scrunchies, I'm sure, are used for girls to just put their hair up real quick. And it's used casually, but to go out with a scrunchie, like to dinner or something, you know, I don't know. Scrunchie is kind of Karen, isn't it?
It is a little Karen. Yeah, I think we should use scrunchies as a at home wearing your pajamas type of deal.
Cancel for
So
outside the door.
We're canceling outside the door. Sorry. Man buns. Same.
No, cancel.
Cancel a man bun. Honey, if you need your haircut,
Lord.
I got you. Cheetah print. Keep every day. Yves Saint Laurent did cheetah print. Gucci did cheetah print. We have Givenchy with cheetah print. Like, a cheetah print is always going to come back in one way or another, and it's a keep to me. I have cheetah print in my collection as we speak.
Imitation, right?
Yeah. Oh, always, yes. Fanny packs, or as they're called now, belt bags or bum bags.
Okay. It depends on how they're shaped. You know, Gucci made some good, like square or rectangle, but that egg shape like that, cancel.
Okay. Yeah, I think it depends on how it's designed and what's on it. If you're going for like an old school 80s, like neon-y, cheap looking fanny pack, I'm with you. Yeah.
Or those rotten, like black leather.
Yeah. Biker
shorts. Okay, well, It
That's a hard
depends on like how cool their biker shorts are going to look, because if you put that with black patent leather combat boots, it might be cool. But if you're
That's
going to
true.
wear like Reebok tennis shoes, it's not going to look good. But like that green neon color, no. If you wear like, probably the only color a biker short might look good is either a white or a black. And then you've got to get the shoes right with them. And then
Yeah.
it should be okay. But just being all Karen with biker shorts, no.
I'm here for that. Yeah, I agree. Athleisure wear.
Guilty. I gotta keep it because I like athletic wear.
Same. That's what I work in during the day. So I always wear a sleek athleisure wear, so we're good. Pastel pantsuits.
I gotta cancel that one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think it looks good on
I don't
these
know.
models. We'll go with
No.
canceled pastel pantsuit. A wedge sneaker.
Oh, I would keep that. I think they're cool.
I can't. Well, these ones are very ugly. In the picture. I don't know if I'd ever wear a wedge sneaker. So for me, cancel. I'm sure there are people who can keep up with them.
Yeah.
A bootcut jean.
I used to work at the Gap in the early 80s, and bootcut was a thing. I either would go straight, like a really straight cut jean, tapered, or full on bell bottom.
Oh
But
yeah.
bootcut, oh no.
I don't know.
I'm gonna cancel the bootcut for now.
I think for me, a bootcut is canceled, but I do think that jeans are they can be very personal, right? People have to do certain style for how their legs are shaped and how they wear their shoes, and so it's a cancel for me. It's a cancel for Jimmy, but it may not be a cancel for everybody.
Actually, like at the moment, I used to wear jeans all the time, but at the moment, I haven't worn jeans in years, just because I don't know, I don't like them anymore. I don't know. I wear more like closer to the athletic wear because they're so more comfortable. Anyway,
I hear that. The last one is millennial pink.
I don't know what that is. What do you mean?
Millennial pink is this like the background is millennial pink, which is like this very soft pink color that everybody's kind of sporting now. I'm always a fan of pink. So.
I'm gonna cancel that, but I like hot pink, and I like nude, which that's almost like a nude.
It is really kind of like a nude pink, yeah.
I like nude, but I don't know about that gentle pink. I'm not sure.
So we'll say we're in the middle. I prefer blush and bashful pinks.
Yeah.
We do love a good movie moment. So Jimmy,
yes.
The crown is there. We are feeling our queenly selves. What's currently on your plate, and do you have any projects coming up that our audience should be checking out?
Yeah, I'm actually going through my archives because I'm in San Antonio, and I've had climate control archives. So I'm going through my archives because I'm trying to do a documentary on my Maryland years.
Yes, please.
And talk about what I went through, all the things I went through in all those years, all the things that happened to me. This wasn't the era of RuPaul's Drag Race, I was maybe paving a path, whereas RuPaul paved the Grand Canyon. I was paving a path, but it was hard. There's a lot of great things that happened. There was a lot of hard, like business business was hard for me to pave that pathway. They didn't give it up that easily in the world of business, you know.
Yeah. So you're working on that, and you have a Thursday night show, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Which
Thursday
we're going to put
night,
down below.
I do my living room concert. Yeah.
Jimmy James
I'm doing my living room concerts here, and I have my mom as a co-star, and
I love that.
I perform, and it's free. It's on Facebook, and I think you guys will show that link for my Facebook on Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, and it's fun. It's been fun because I just want to give back to my fans. It's really hard on me being, all my shows got canceled. All the stages are gone. I can't even do Provincetown like I normally would in the summer. That's all canceled. So instead of like moping about it and staring at the ceiling fan, I'm gonna like perform for people and give them a taste of what it would have been like to see me at my shows, because not everybody can see me at my shows. I mean, I don't tour like Bianca Del Rio, that whore. She's a friend of mine, but she's a whore. Yeah, she took all the gigs.
Well, when you look like she
I
does
don't
out of
tour
drag,
that
it's not hard.
So, she's an incredible talent, by the way. It's one that I've seen her show now 4 times in theaters, and you know, I just sit there with amazement and go, "What a whore!" I love her. She's amazing.
She
or
really
Lady
is.
Bunny, that whore. Lady Bunny's a crack whore.
Well, it shows in how she interacts with people. I mean, speaking of your entertaining, we've gone through your Maryland and how legendary it is, but you were really one of the first entertainers, if not the first entertainer, to put on a vocal variety show that showcased your vocal ability, and like we had said earlier, kind of like your voice acting ability to do impressions of the many entertainers that you do. First of all, I think my first question is, how does it feel that you talked about paving a path, but for me, you actually broke a ceiling. You broke the ceiling, and the glass ceiling is open now because of you. And we're going to play a clip in just a minute of that. But I want to ask you, how does it feel to be the one who actually like dug that path for people?
I was just wanting to work. I at the time, I didn't feel like I was forging a path. I just wanted to work. I wanted to have exposure so that people could come see me at my shows. That's all I wanted. And, you know, you look back on it and you go, oh, wow, I did that or did this. But at the time, I just wanted to work. I wanted to entertain. I wanted to see the world and meet people and things like that.
Ugh. Not only are you a beautiful entertainer and a beautiful person, but I mean, in my opinion, you are very humble. So thank you for all of that. We do want to play a clip of one of your shows where I believe you're impersonating, or you're doing a voice acting of Billie Holiday in this. Let me know if I'm wrong.
And that's what shall lose. So the boss, and it's good evening. Mama made ham, Papa made ham. God bless the child. It's got its own. It's got its own. The legendary Miss Eartha Kitt. The strong get more while the weak ones fade, and people just don't ever make the grade. Your mama may have your papa may have. But God bless a child that's got his own. That's got his own.
Wow. I mean, two legends there. Billie Holiday, Eartha Kitt, and you nailed both of them. Like, how did you know that you were able to do all of these voices?
And right after that is Diana Ross
Of course.
in that number. So I call that three sister divas. So it's Eartha Kitt, Billie Holiday, and Diana Ross.
Wow.
So thanks for showing that. That was nice. That was me in Provincetown performing. When I was a little kid, I used to imitate the television commercials, and my sister actually did it too. We would just imitate TV commercials, and I think when I saw, like, they used to play those old black and white movies with like Mae West that would come on. My dad loved W.C. Fields, and so I saw Mae West, and I was like, oh my God, because her voice was so distinct. And so I started imitating Mae West. And then when Sonny and Cher came on later, like in the 70s, I fell in love with Cher. And then I would try to imitate Cher. And then later on, I loved Diana Ross playing the Billie Holiday in the movie. And then I did research on who Billie Holiday was. And then I became a fan of Billie Holiday and Patsy Cline and Judy Garland and Betty Davis, and these are all everybody I imitate. Everybody I imitate, I'm a big fan of, and that's what makes it fun for me. I never imitate somebody just because people tell me to imitate them.
Yeah.
I always, if I'm imitating them, it's because I'm a huge fan of them. I'm trying to work on Billie Eilish because I love Billie Eilish, and
great.
And I try to imitate Lana Del Rey. In my show, I had Summertime Sadness in my show because there's a dance beat, the one with the dance beat. I love Lana Del Rey. So I try to imitate the modern singers as long as they have something distinct and special. Back in the day, Macy Gray, I fell in love with Macy Gray because she had such a distinct sound. I love voices that have a very distinct sound.
Yeah. I think that I relate to that quite a bit, which is one of the reasons I was so excited to have you on this show. I do that quite a bit also. My dear family member, Joshua Santiago, who is Noah Lee Richard, says, imitate Aaliyah Martinez. You are intimidating to me, but not. But imitate Aaliyah Martinez.
I'd have to study you.
Yeah.
I'd have to study you.
I am very excited because you've also said that you have a number prepared for us today, but I have one more question for you about kind of our culture and what's going on in the world, and that's since you started, you've kind of talked a lot about how it's been as a performer and how there wasn't the support, but what do you think the biggest changes have been in our culture and community since you were on the scene until now? Because I mean, you're still on the scene, you're still killing it, you're still doing the thing, but what are the biggest changes that you've seen, and where do you think we're going to be next?
We're still gonna, well, where we were back in the day, there was more, there's more like homophobia.
Yeah.
Back then, it was harder. Of course, sophisticated people who like to come see my show, they were cool, but there was more homophobia and closed-mindedness, whereas I think RuPaul has just like blown it out of the water. We now have people, he's opened people's minds to a whole new world of drag and performance art, which I think of myself as performance artist. And I think going forward, I think it's going to be with now, you know, the Black Lives Matters, the young people protesting, they have had enough. And so have all of us. But the young people are out there protesting with their young energy, and they are going to give us a better world. Look at the things that they've done recently with the police brutality, police crimes that we now have. I would tell young people, keep recording, keep showing what's going on. We have these recordings where police will lie and say, oh, the man just tripped. No, we saw you push him. We saw you push that old man to the concrete. We saw blood coming out of his ear, blood coming out of the back of his head, and y'all just kept on walking. Of course, they call medics, but they act like just push him. I mean, no. And those 57 that quit, bitch. Bye, Felicia. Bye. Go get another job.
Yeah.
You know, quit your job. You shouldn't be doing it. Not pushing an elderly man like that. Young, strapping, strong policeman just pushing the guy to the concrete. No, you don't get to do that. The man was not, and a lot of these kids that are protesting, they're unarmed. They have a bottle of water, you know.
Yeah.
I see the young people taking us to a better place and hold people accountable. And that's what the young people are doing. Because I see Asians, I see Hispanic, I see Black, I see white, all kinds of people. The young people aren't going to take this crap anymore. And that is the most beautiful thing I've seen on television.
I agree. Thank you for that. I'm beyond grateful to have you on this show today and to kick off Pride Month with me. I would love to sing with you one day, but since we are not together, I would love to have you perform a number for us. I know you have one ready, and then we will close out the show after you're done performing.
So what do you want? Do you want like 8 divas, which is 8 voices in one song, or do you want Fashionista? Do you want Summer Sun? Do you want do you want Lana Del Rey? Summertime Sadness?
That is the hardest question you've ever asked me because I'm such a fan of yours. I actually, for Pride Month, if you would be willing to do Fashionista, I am very for it.
Do we do the whole song or just a piece of it?
You can do the entire song. It's your song, so let's hear it.
It's your show.
I know, but I want to hear you. That's my goal.
Okay, girl.
All right.
Thank you for having me on your show.
While you're getting queued up, I'm just going to introduce you very quick. This is the legendary Jimmy James giving you the song that has been on Pride After Pride. I have performed 1,000,000 times, and I cannot tell you how excited I am to give you Jimmy James with Fashionista.
The show is about to start. Places. The show is about to start. You have to show a look, have a look, or give a look. Faces. Beautiful. No one ugly allowed. Are you ready? Here we go. Fashion is the art. Designers are the gods. Models play the part of angels in the dark. Which one of you would ever dare to go against? That beauty is a trade and everyone is paid. Fashionista. How do you look? Fashionista. How do you look? New York, London, Paris, Milan, Tokyo, I think it's in Japan, Asia, Malaysia, Las Vegas to play, LA, if you pay my way. Fashionista, how do you look? 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 Sean, John, Calvin Klein, Donna Karen's fashion line, Valentino, YSL, Ferragamo, and Chanel, Hoss and Gucci, Fiorucci, don't forget my Pucci, Fendi and Armani, God, I miss Gianni, Kenneth Cole, Michael Kors, Mr. Ford, I can't afford, D&G and BCBG, looking good is never easy, Alexander Herkovich, Naomi Campbell, such a bitch. I wanna be Delgada to fit into my Prada. Oscar de la Renta, Louis Vuitton, imitation of Christ. Beauty has a price. This is for all the beautiful protesters marching for a better world. Fashionista, how do you look? Fashionista, how do you look? Oh yeah! Fashionista, how do you look? Fashionista, how do you look? What are you wearing?
The talented,
That's Mom.
the
She
amazing
loves me.
Jimmy James. Yes, thank you.
Oh, let me put you on. Thank you, sweetheart, for having me on your show.
Literally gagging, living, gagging. Watching you has been the happiest I've been all week. Yes, I mean you are.
Thank you, sweetheart.
I mean,
Thank
the people in quarantine are dying. We just got a live concert. Jimmy James, Venmos and Cash Apps are below. Be sure to donate. Also, check out Jimmy James Thursday night shows on Jimmy James Facebook. I am so happy to have you here. You have been a long inspiration to me, and I hope we stay in each other's lives. You are so wonderful, and I cannot thank you enough for being here, babe.
Thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
It's been such a pleasure to me. I will see you in just a minute, but we're going to close out the show. Mwah. All right. That is Viva Aaliyah. We did not announce our prize for next week. And so if you want to submit your what's in your glass photo, that is a picture of you and your glass to drinks@AaliyahMartinezQueen.com, you can win a pride brooch from none other than Nova Star of Fierce Drag Jewels. Nova is sending them to me now, so I don't even know what they're gonna look like, but honey, she has promised me the creme de la creme for Pride Month. I wanna give a shout out to my designers tonight. Nails are, of course, Big Girl Nails by Coco. We have Jewels, which is Rocks by Cox. And my hair and outfit by me. I want to thank you all for being on here. This is our Pride Month. We are kicking off our Pride Month, and we already had an amazing episode. Next week, we have none other than Mr. Gay America, Simba Hall. Simba is a former Mr. Gay USA and Mr. Continental. He's the current Mr. Gay America, and I can't wait to sit down and chat with his handsome self. I love you all, and don't forget, Viva Aaliyah.